Always exciting start of a new project, and no, it's not going to be a boat, it's going to be a surfboard. A flying surfboard, can you imagine? Of course, our surfboard is going to need a surfer to go on it, so I've printed that off as well. And I made a slight change from the original plan, which of course will be linked down in the description. I've cut the skeg, or whatever it's called, from some 3mm ply, because clearly that's what it's going to be landing on. The board itself is cut from a single 6mm sheet, 1 meter by ½ meter, and I've got some offcuts that I can use to cut out the surfer as well. This part here, the keel or whatever, is going to be carved out of this building materials type foam, like the blue foam or pink foam that you find, and not sure what size that is. So that's just about 4 centimeters here in Europe. So we'll hack the center portion out of that and then bend the Depron over the top. I've got myself a battery in the recommended 1000 milliampere hour 2S range. I've managed to dig out of my parts box. This must be at least 25 years old. This Graupner cam module, 6 by 3 inches, and that's matched to an Emax CF2812 motor, and that should be good up to 7-inch props. I don't think it's going to take very much to move this around the sky, and a no-name 10 amp speed controller. Continuing the theme of cheapness, I'm recycling these 2 servos that already have the little arms attached to them for the elevons. Enough waffling then, I'll start cutting and we'll come back when we've made some progress. You can see here that there's plenty of foam to cut out the surfer from the original sheet, so no need to buy anything else. I've cut the central section out of the blue foam, which appears white for some reason here, and cut the elevons off. In the next part we'll see how it all goes together. This being a very simple build, progress has been quite rapid. As I like to do, I've roughly laid out the components where I think they're going to go to check where my CG is going to be, and the CG is about 25 centimeters back from the leading edge here. To achieve that, I've gone to a 3S 1300 pack, and that is balancing, as you can see, pretty much there. If we take our components off for the moment, you may just be able to see there the line that I've drawn, which depicts where the CG is supposed to be. I've epoxied the front on there. It's an idea to curve the Depron sheet, just roll it over the edge of the desk to get it into rough shape and then glue that in place. What I've also done is to cut a ply plate there, just out of 2mm ply, and we have our motor screwed to that. You can see our slot for our surfer. You can see I've chamfered and hinged the elevons there. Lots of progress made. Now that I know that the C of G is there or thereabouts, I can get on and place those components more permanently. I don't think we got a good view of the surfer beforehand. Having the artistic ability of a 5-year-old, I've elected to cut from vinyl the shorts and his hair there, and even the eyes. That's about as far as my artistic abilities go. So there he is. Yet to attach the skeg, my favourite of choice at the moment, a little ELRS receiver that can also monitor the cell voltage, battery voltage. Speaking of stickers, we have some others there. I've gone ahead and installed the servos and routed the cables through there. Receiver will probably sit here somewhere, and I'll put a battery strap and cut a ply plate for that there, and made it a hole there for the speed controller. All pretty neat. Speaking of pretty neat, that's pretty neat too, I think. better see the arrangement there. My next task then will be to route out the slot here. I've made this pretty deep so that I can hopefully just make that a friction fit. We will see how long that lasts in flight. Now, to route that out, I'm using one of these little tools. Of course, the trusty Dremel would do that as well, but in comparison, it's huge and ungainly with the cable. I do have a cordless Dremel as well, but it doesn't come close to this. In the tip there at the moment, I have one of these, I think that's a dual flute router bit, or end mill, strictly speaking, and I put a bit of heat shrink over there for another task when I needed to accurately set the depth. Now this has 3 speeds, and even the fastest speed is nowhere near the speed of a Dremel, which is a good thing. For another project, for example, I needed to cut this 3D printed part, which I've done there and there. In fact, you can just see the cut mark through there, and that was done with a circular blade in this guy. Had I tried the same trick with a Dremel, it would have just melted the plastic and it would have been game over. We need the full depth there to match up with the bottom part of our surfer. Let's give it a go. Lowest speed will be sufficient. Probably can't see what's going on now. I'll try and film it for you. So that's doing an excellent job. And once that is down to that level there, our surfer should sit in quite neatly. So a very useful addition to the toolkit. Our surfer then is ready to go, and doesn't he look splendid? Not sure how he's going to ride the wave, but I guess we're going to find out. Just have to wait now for a calm day at the beach. I mean the flying field. Let me just show you what's the final solution. Something funny was going on with the no-name 10 amp speed controller. I checked the servos and they're only drawing about 300 milliamps each when moving, so why this was having a problem with that I don't know, but I've swapped it out for this guy, which is fine. I've added a lead here into the balance lead to measure the onboard battery voltage. Function of the Express RS receivers. My rather fetching red skeg there, red obviously to hide the blood, and additionally here just a little bit of up or reflex as it's a delta. Let me show you the movements that we have. The cables are a little untidy, but there's not very much I can do about that in this configuration. So with the transmitter set up with the full amount of deflection, it's silly, but I do have rates on there, so we can tone it all the way down to only that amount of movement. That should be sufficient.
12 volts.
So 12 volts there, the battery voltage at the moment.
Water active.
We should have sufficient oomph there to get the thing moving along. Just as an aside, to remove the speed controller, which had stuck in with the hot melt glue there, remember that isopropanol is a debonder for hot glue, so just with the pipette I squirted a little bit down each side, waited some minutes, and then it pulled out relatively easily. There we have it then, a certainly different looking design, and can't wait to see it in the air. Thanks for watching.